Hey, what up, guys? In this one, we're head out to the Bridges. First time playing here. Great little track in San Ramon. Pretty tough. Played a T4 because first time playing here, so didn't know what to expect. So let's head out to the course and see how I did. All right, first hole at the Bridges. First time playing here. You're gonna see the driver distance be down a little bit because I was focusing more on accuracy and consistency. That being said, my second shot of the day just skyrocketed this over the green, and so I have a tough up and down here. End up hitting the ball right off of the fringe, and unfortunately, it just rolls way past. So yeah, the greens here pretty tough, and so here is the first putt for my par, and yeah, I just don't give it enough there. But easy tap in bogey. I'll take that after the blunder on the second shot. All right, coming up is actually a pretty long par four. Yeah, I ended up flaring this one a little bit to the right, and it was really spinny, so it didn't go anywhere. And my next shot, I knew I wasn't going to be able to really get to the green, so I just played a hybrid, and if I hit it my best, I would get it there, but end up chunking a little bit. Here's my chip, and yeah, as you can see, or I don't know if you can see it here, it ends up rolling way past, so I have a really difficult putt just to save my par here. So here's the par attempt. And yeah, you're going to see that this is not going to be a great putt either. So I have a lengthy one just to save bogey. And so here is the bogey attempt. And yeah, ends up sliding on me pretty hard. So I end up starting the day with a bogey and a double. All right, so this is kind of what the Bridges is known for. It's like more like target golf, especially from these middle tees. So end up just taking the 4-iron here and hitting it uphill so it didn't go that far. But safely aboard on the fairway. And the second shot into the green ends up being pretty decent. And unfortunately, if you can see this, oh no, my ball hits a piece of trash on the green and it takes a lot of steam off of it. So yeah, I guess I understand why pros take out every debris in their line because you never know what will happen. And they end up three putting. So on in regulation, three putted. Not going to blame the debris, but it is a bummer that it did hit it. All right, so this par 5, not super long, but as you can see, not a lot of forgiveness off the tee here. That's going to be a theme throughout the day. I end up just hitting a 4-iron on my next shot here. Ends up, going where I want it, and so I just hit my third shot onto the green. And so I have a look here for birdie, and I'm on in regulation again. So here's the birdie look. And I thought I had it. The arm was going up and a little bit premature there, so I ended up just tapping in for par. All right, coming up next is a decent length par 3, first of the day. End up chunking this one to the left and barely clearing the sand trap. Unfortunately for this chip, it doesn't even reach the green. End up chunking this one with the 56. Not great. And then here's the putt. And yeah, just end up lagging that one up there and tapping that one in. But yeah, overall, target golf is the theme of the Bridges and pretty difficult greens as well. So coming up next is another short par 4. So you're going to see me take out the 4-iron here. End up just hitting this one in the center of the fairway. So I got a decent look for my second shot. And yeah, end up hitting a really good shot here. And so I'm in really close now for a birdie attempt. So lots of greens and regulations, lots of chance at birdie. And finally, the first birdie chime comes in. All right, coming up next is another short par 4. I think they're trying to bait you into taking a driver here, but hey, I laid up on the last hole, so I'm going to lay up again here. That being said, my approach to the green wasn't as good as the last one, unfortunately, but hey, I'm just off the fringe here, and so at least I have a look at it, even though I'm not on in regulation. So here is the putt, and yeah, just kind of left it short here, was a little more conservative, and yeah, ended up just tapping in for par. So only 4 over at this point. All right, coming up next is a par 5. End up hitting a pretty spinny drive here with a fade, and so it doesn't go all that far. And I'm in the rough on the right-hand side. This next shot just end up advancing the ball, trying not to get too cute with things. And unfortunately, this next shot, I thought I was like maybe 150 yards to the flag because that's what the cart says. But it was only like 130. And I realized the cart was really just all the flags were in the middle. So I ended up hitting this one over and into the hazard. And on top of that, I end up chunking this chip, end up chunking another chip. And so at this point, I'm putting for double. And yeah, it's not looking good here. So here's my double bogey attempt. And yeah, I missed that one. I end up tapping in for triple. But yeah, it all kind of happened because I misjudged the shot into the green because of what the cart was saying. This next one, another short par 4. End up going to the sand trap, and yeah, end up just whiffing on this one, not getting any contact onto it and fading it out to the right. And so I just have to chip on. I'm just trying to get on and make sure I have a putt at it, which I end up achieving. And yeah, so I'm putting for par here, and I barely miss it. So end up tapping for bogey, but I'll take that after that previous blow up hole. All right, coming up next is a very short par 4. I end up taking my driver on this one because you can kind of bail out to the left where you see all that dead grass. End up hitting a really good drive and really just, not too short of the green. So here's my chip. Ends up being really close. And so now I have another easy tap in for birdie. So here's another birdie. And the birdie chimes are sounding again. Gotta love it. So at this point, you can kind of tell I'm really getting comfortable with these Olimar 1-length irons. This is kind of an example of that as well. Took a 5-iron here, hit it absolutely pure, and then hit onto the green. And yeah, here's my attempt. And I thought I had it again. No birdie chimes this time, but I'll take an easy tap in par for sure. All right, coming up next, not a long par 4, but difficult off the tee. End up fading this one ever so slightly. Didn't see where it lands, but fortunately it stays out of the hazard and I'm just in the rough off to the right. This one, just trying to get it onto the biggest part of the green because the pin was tucked away in the back. And yeah, here is the putt attempt. Yeah, it just wasn't a very good putt attempt here. I end up tapping that one in for par, but hey, I'm hitting greens in regulation and it's feeling pretty good. All right, coming up next is a short par 3. I actually end up going long of the flag, but it's kind of in a bowl, so it ends up rolling onto the green, so another green regulation. This putt ends up looking pretty good, just ends up being a tad bit short, and I end up tapping in for another par. All right, coming up next is probably one of the weirder holes of the course. Didn't really know how to play it. I laid up, but my buddies, they went over onto the right-hand side, tried to clear the ravine, and they couldn't find their ball. So I think the play is to hit it like 200, 210 yards off the tee. That being said, check out this shot after my approach to the green with the hybrid. Bump and run, gang, where you at? End up getting another birdie with a chip in from off the green. All right, coming up next is another par 5. The wind was picking up big time here. Hit a pretty decent drive down the center of the fairway, and this is going to be a 3-shot hole all the way. So it just took a club that I was comfortable hitting all day, which was the 4-iron, and hitting it, dead center and setting myself up for this next shot. I end up hitting the green in regulation. It ends up being a tad short, but can't complain with the results here. And so here's the putt for birdie. And yeah, so many good putts left short today, or barely missed today. But hey, all day, easy tap in pars, what's there not to like? So unfortunately, all good things must come to an end. I thought I could get away with, hitting my ball up into the dry stuff and it coming down, but I end up losing it. So I'm actually hitting 4 now because I just dropped my ball, take a 2-stroke penalty, and I actually get onto the green, which is great, from like 200 plus yards out. And here's my putt. Yeah, and the putt ends up being kind of short, and so I was trying to just get out of this hole, and it lips out. So early walk, end up getting a triple, so now all of a sudden I'm 9 over. And just when you thought things cannot get worse, I end up doing the first pull hook of the day on probably the worst hole possible. And so now I'm on this junky, fescue grass, end up blading this and almost hitting the golf carts. And so I'm chipping down, just trying to get onto the green. Yeah, and this one ends up being short. And so, yeah, something I should have employed here was the bump around or my putter, but there's people behind us and I just didn't want to take too much time. And I ended up screaming this one by. And so now I'm just putting here for my double. And I end up leaving this one short. So end up with 2 triples in a row. So yeah, the wheels are definitely coming off here. And yeah, just when you thought, can't get any worse, it does. And I end up hitting this one out of bounds. So hit my second drive, my provisional. Couldn't find my first one anyway. So as you can see, this is my 3rd shot. So now I'm hitting 4, just laying up because this is a weird par 5. So yeah, I laid up just so I could have a good shot into the green. And yeah, pretty much I duff this one and I end up into the hazard. So I'm just racking up the strokes here. It was all good through 15 holes, and then the wheels just started coming off. This chip here ends up rolling it back a little bit. So still not out of the woods here, and I'm putting for a triple bogey. And yeah, I end up just hitting a terrible putt. Luckily, I end up just tapping this one and it goes in, but I end up getting a quad bogey. So 10 over in the last 3 holes. So it just goes to show, golf is really hard. All right, as you can see, Played pretty decent up until the end. Blew it up pretty badly on the last couple of holes, but the game's getting dialed in. Didn't really hit it as hard as I needed to off the tee because, heck, you know, the course wasn't that long playing from the white tees, so it gave me some leeway to focus more on accuracy and consistency and not length. That being said, hope you guys enjoy this one. Keep chasing, and we'll see you in the next one.